Hi everyone, this is Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. I'm going to demonstrate how to make this table topper. It's about 36 inches in diameter and I selected autumn fabrics. So let's get started. You'll need the following supplies. You'll need 2 different fabrics for the top. Fabric A, you'll need 5/8 of a yard, 4 squares, 6 1/4 inches, 20 4.5 inch squares. Fabric B, 2/3 of a yard, 1 12.5 inch square, 16 4.5 inch squares, 2 13 inch squares. Fabric for the back, you'll need 1 1/8 yard, cotton batting 1 1/8 yard, binding 1/3 yard. You'll need 3 strips approximately 2 3/4 inches by 42 inches. This is fabric A, 6.5 inch square. You should have 4 of these cut out. Turn them on the back side and you're going to draw a line from corner to corner. Place your ruler on there, line it up, and draw a line. Do that on all 4. Place a square in each corner of your background fabric. This is the 12.5 inch square here. These are the 6.5 inch squares that you just drew a line on. Place your lines so that they're going like this. Very important that the lines are going in the correct direction. Then you're going to stitch alongside that line. You're not going to stitch on top of the line, but right next to it. After you've stitched the 2 lines, or next to the 2 lines, remember, put your 1/4 inch line on the stitch line that you just did, and you're going to trim these corners off. So do both sides. After you have the corners trimmed off, then go to your ironing board and press your seams on the back side. Then unfold and press them on the top, and make sure that you press these seams going away from the block. Take your last 2 6.5 inch squares and place them on the other 2 corners. And again, your lines are going this way. So here they go. They're going this way on both of them. And then again, you're going to stitch right next to the line. Now, I don't know if I mentioned in the previous step, but you want to stitch on this side of the line, the one that's closest to the corner. Stitch along side of it. Remember, not on top of the line. And then stitch on this side of the line. So you're always stitching on the side that is towards the corner. After you're done stitching, then trim both corners off just like you did on the first 2. Press your seams on the back side and then unfold and press on top. And again, you're going to press these seams towards the outside. When you're all done, this is what it should look like. And then here it is on the back side. Place your A and B fabrics that are 4.5 inch squares in this pattern where you have 2 A's in the first row, 1 A in the second row, 2 A's in the third row. You're going to stitch each row together separately. So bring front sides together, stitch 1/4 inch, bring this, stitch 1/4 inch, and then go to the next row and the next row. After you have stitched each row, you're going to press your seams on the back side. Press both seams. Then flip it over to the front and press the seams on top. And if you keep the block slightly lifted a little bit, with your iron, push against that seam, pushing the seams all in one direction. You want to make sure that the middle row is going in the opposite direction of row 1 and 3. This is so that when you go to match up your rows, it's much easier. So you would bring the blocks on top of each other, match up those seams. Those seams are going to be right next to each other, and place a pin to hold it together, and place a pin on the other one. And then after you've got it pinned, then go ahead and stitch 1/4 inch seam along there. After you've done these 2 rows, then attach the 3rd row onto it. When you're done, your block should look like this. This is the front, and then here's what it looks like on the back. So you're going to make 4 of these blocks. Take your 2 13-inch squares and stack them on top of each other and line up the edges, and you're going to cut them in half. So put your ruler's edge at that corner at each end and cut them in half. Lay all of your blocks out in this pattern. Your half square triangles are going in each corner. Then you're going to take each row and stitch the pieces together. So bring your fabrics on top, stitch 1/4 inch seam, and continue down to the last block in your row, stitching 1/4 inch seam. And do the same thing with row 2 and row 3. After you have stitched each row, then of course press your seams on the back side and then press on top. You're going to press row 2 in the opposite direction than row 1 and 3, and this is so that it's easier to match up your seams. Stitch the rows together, so bring front sides together, match up your seams, make sure that the seam on the bottom is going in the opposite direction than the one on top. Pin these 2 seams here and here, and then after you've got these 2 seams pinned, then go ahead and continue pinning across your row here, across this edge. After you have finished pinning, then stitch 1/4 inch all along here. After you have stitched across here, then with your iron, press the seam on the back side. Then unfold and press the seams on top, and try to get the seams to where they just all go in one direction, not one side of the seam going in different directions. This makes it nice and flat. So do both of your seams like that. Next step is to layer the fabric. So take your fabric for the back and bring it front side down. So you're looking at the back side of the fabric. Then your cotton batting, and then your table topper on top. You're going to smooth it all out. Then either use straight pins or safety pins, either one that you prefer, and scatter these pins all over the top to hold all the layers together while you do your quilting stitches. One of the easiest quilting stitches to do is to do stitch in the ditch. That means that you would stitch literally right inside the ditch of the seams. So you'd go all the way from one side to the other, all the way across, and then over here from the ditch straight down through your corner pieces. I highly recommend that you use a walking foot while you do your stitches. It's a rather affordable presser foot. You can get them on Amazon.com or other sewing machine supply websites or local stores that you may have. When you do quilting stitches, if you don't want to do stitch in the ditch, you could just do every 2 or 3 inches apart, straight lines going across and then side to, or up and down and then side to side. You can also go at a diagonal. If you have decorative quilting stitches, you can use that also, and also go at a diagonal. After your quilting stitches are done, then you need to trim this excess fabric and cotton batting off of the edges. Place your ruler along the edge of your table topper fabric and then trim the edge. Go around to all of your edges and trim them off. If you need instructions on how to do the binding, then click on the link in the upper right-hand corner. For other table runner projects, go to the green screen at the end of this video and click on the links. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, would you please click on that old thumbs up button, and don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click on that red subscribe button down there in the lower right hand corner of your screen. Don't forget to enter your email address. Click on that bell so you receive the email notifications to your phone. I'm Cheryl and this is Manny, and see you next time. Happy sewing!